This is a very new type of content, but you know, who doesn't love playing with cats? And while we do so, we can talk about some code geass scaling. I like the idea of this because it's a lot more chill than, you know, arguing with some rage baiters on YouTube that shout geass fodder or dumb opponents. Wait, let go. But I also just like this because it's a lot easier to do content-wise, it's a lot quicker, and what are you gonna do, dox me for my voice? How petty can you be? So the first kind of thing that I wanted to look at was the general narrative perspective of the show. Wait, Fred, let go. Please, thank you. And overall, I just want to establish that no, Lelouch does not rely on his geass. Anytime someone says he's a geass fodder or relies on geass, has no feats without geass, they're just talking out their butts. They ain't seen the show or they don't understand it. And there's so many feats in the show that display how it's a tactical weapon and not a relied part of his arsenal. Like for example, you've got the Shinjuku skirmish. Other than using geass on Clovis, he didn't even really need to use geass at all other than to steal Valletta's nightmare frame. But of course, early on in the series, in this first and second episodes, he obviously needed to get out of it due to plot. He was put in that position for geass to get him out of it. So playing ignorant to those, his entire strategy against Clovis was actually just pure chess theory applied into military strategy, predicting the nightmare frame's trajectories in advance, pure intellect, leading Clovis for the sinkhole trap, complete intellect, and also using it to manipulate the Britannian and Japanese kind of populace later on is also pure intellect, which leans also into the orange fabrication strategy after the pure bloods take power in Area 11. Lelouch looks to gain the trust of the Japanese people by saving Suzaku as well as his own personal motives. But he only uses geass as an extra bit of reinforcement in order to help propel the cause. It's a tactical use rather than relying on the geass for the strategy to work. He'd already used Britannia's own fabrication of the poison gas to hold them all hostage from the purebloods' perspectives who didn't know about Project R. And, you know, creating Clovis's vehicle to be a mockery to predicting Jeremiah would let him in, that's all pure intellect. Making the people even believe about Orange as a concept, even without geass, is just pure intellect. And obviously Orange strategy is a great strategy by all means, but it's nothing special. But it already shows that he's not relying on geass even as early R1. Going forward, you've got his hotel jacking strategy. Obviously he used it to kill the JLF members that had taken the hotel hostage, but that was just self-defense for the most part. He could have shot him down with his gun whenever, but you know, he used it as a tactical way to say, hey, I just shot him out of self-defense, when he actually used geass. But also, again, manipulating public perception of the Black Knights for their debut, pure intellect, deducing that Euphemia was in the hotel based on Cornelia's lack of action is just his raw reasoning ability, and then using that information to confirm it by profiling Cornelia and then manipulating her to get into the hotel in the first place is raw intellect. And, you know, I can name example after example across both R1 and R2 that just proves inexorably that, you know, Lelouch never relied on geass. Okay, he did a few times, he needed it in order to combat Mao, but that's a hacks versus hacks situation, which is very different to hacks versus non-hacks. Everything during the Zero Requiem, purely predicted through his own intellect. He only used geass on Schneisel as a tactical way to progress the world's development after his death, and he only used it to gain power in Britannia just to set things off quicker than before. Well, quicker than they would have been. So again, like, the only true perception for this is that at most geass is a tactical weapon that he uses, because why wouldn't you? But he by no means relies on it as a source of victory. That is just pure comprehension issues of the show, and just what we in the modern day would call LARPing. So yeah, and I'm going to be doing more of these with these adorable feisty little things here, so feel free to just DM me on Discord. I'm going to leave it in a pinned comment. You can comment on YouTube as well, and that's just to give requests, and I'm more than happy to discuss them. So yeah, no script, just chill, and yeah, ask anything and I'll talk about it.